Orlando of Align Performance, Align Originals, and we are joined today, as always, for Align Family with our friend Mama Moody, Ro Delagrazi. Say hi to folks.
Hello, folks. Hello.
So this is the show where we figure out how not to have our life of trauma spill over into our family life as best as we can. I think that's a fair description. But no, we really do spend time just thinking through like how we navigate all this and how we bring the good lessons with us, and maybe people talk about cycles of trauma and all that, and in the meanwhile, navigate life and sometimes have relationships and all sorts of things. So today, Ro, I actually want you to describe the topic because I like the way you describe it, and I feel like it's a really interesting and timely conversation.
Yeah, it was. Did I put expecting or accepting? I think I was like. I think what
I read it the way you meant it, but then I saw
right?
that. Yeah, so I got it.
I just thought that now. I was like expecting life as it is.
Yeah. No, that I've never been able to do. I wish I always expected life the way it is. I am constantly shocked by what life has got going on for me. But anyway, go ahead.
Especially accepting almost. There's a term that we say in Al-Anon: accepting life on life's terms. So that and the reality of what accepting what the reality of a situation is, and really going into, and again, I know I've been kind of vague with what I've been going through, and I'll be more clear eventually, but really navigating new transitions, like, and when you're upset about a transition, and you're like, no, I what do you mean you don't want to participate in this anymore? And the person's telling you, like, clear, very clear. And I have a lot of people like, you might come back to each other. I'm like, I appreciate the hopefulness, but also when somebody gives you a sign, a lot of times, it's okay to be like, hey, you might not like the signs. You might wish something was different. You might wish, what are you talking about? This doesn't make sense to me. But it's the signs that they are, and it's the reality of what it is. And to fight it, it's not fair to me either.
Yeah.
No,
sorry. No. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say I'm so focused on the other person. Like, why? But me.
Right. Well, one of the things that I talk about having our who, right? Those few, and it's important to me that's not like 35 words, right? Or terms, like that we have. I usually tell people 3 to 5 terms that describe you, whether it's in the situation or if you're talking about your life more broadly, that capture how you intend to show up in the world. And I found this really served me because there are these, just these moments where I can sort of just check in with myself, like, which of these lines up with my who? And it's a compass, right? So anyway, I say all that to say that one of my words in my most recent iteration of doing that work is honest. And I describe honest as choosing to live in reality.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't lie. I don't create a falsehood. I'm choosing to live in reality by like it might be, you might say, what do you think of this dress? And I go, well, it's not my favorite dress. Like that's, like I'm going to live in reality with you. I'm going to try to be all the good things, but I think I should try to live in reality. Not lying to myself. Oh, I'll get that done over the weekend. I'm working on that one. You wouldn't believe the problems I'm going to solve every weekend. All of it. World hunger by Sunday at noon. Done. And so anyway, all I have to say, I want to live in reality. And part of that is funny, not funny, haha, but like the way you describe that, I've spent the last few years, I've had some significant losses in my life. And I realized over some time and frankly some therapy that there was part of me that was like, but I don't want that to be so. I don't want so-and-so to be gone.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is, guess what? Guess
literally
what?
powerless over it. So guess what?
You know, yeah, and there's power. Whatever else is going to happen, there's power in dealing with what is.
Yes. Well, also, Orlando, I think the thing too, though, that it's exactly what you're saying, but there's also like, now that I'm following all these people that are like, spiritual guides or believe
Mm-hmm,
manifesting,
mm-hmm,
blah, blah, blah. And there is like a whole Delulu thing that's like, just believe, like, be delusional about like your
mm-hmm.
career, be delusional about your ability to make a lot of money. So it's funny because I'm absolutely about that honesty and like let's just be in the like we have to stay in the moment because the moment is you have no control over
That's
that,
right. That's
right?
right.
But also like with the balance of like be Delulu that you can build an empire, be Delulu that you
Mm-hmm,
live the life exactly how you want your life. Maybe
mm-hmm.
not what's being presented now because this is not for my life. This was not how it was supposed to be. So you're like, but that's not what I wanted.
Right, right,
But that's what's being presented to me. So now
that's
what
right,
are you gonna do? So
right.
now what are you gonna do?
So that's
Um,
and that question is it comes right after what we talk about as the starting point. So it's because you have to be able to be like, this is where I am. And
mm,
again, I know a guy who has a hard time living like that. So then he wants to like continue life from what he pictured. And it's like, yeah, but that's interesting because that's not reality.
no,
Like you actually want to live from not reality. So
yeah,
let's start with reality. Where are you?
mhm,
And I don't think we're as good at that as we think. Like
yeah,
that's probably my biggest lesson from these years, most
mhm,
recent years of therapy, is I would have thought of myself as a very sort of like clear-headed, I get it, it is what it is. But I found there was a lot of stuff
oh
that
God,
I was just fighting
oh my,
with every fiber of my being. It's
say
crazy.
the fact that I literally will hear a song and I'm like, oh my God, I'm crying.
I know.
I'm like,
I know.
oh,
Right.
you
Right.
thought you dealt with that, or just like with my
Mm-hmm.
kids, if something happens, I'm like, oh, that's bothering me, that's triggering me. Oh, I'm still triggered. Like my kids are showing me I'm still triggered. I
Yeah.
still get triggered. Them having to deal with things still like it's what did I say? I was just talking about it with a sponsee of mine in Al-Anon. We're not, you know what? We're not gonna be able to cure it, but we can heal it. You know,
Ooh.
we can heal that. No cure. There's no cure. There's no cure because also
Ooh, I
too,
like that.
thank you. And it's like really we're not gonna be able to like we're always searching for the cure.
Yeah.
Happiness is just trying to search for the cure because you know what, honestly, and that might be what I'm going through now with when we talk about like midlife crisis and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no drama. I mean, a fight here and there, but I'm saying there's no drama. It's just serene. We don't have a crazy house. This is it. It's really, if you look at it, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
you told me that in my 30s, I'd be like, no, I need fame. I need this because that's what we're also like. We think that's it, right?
Right. Right.
But this is it. But then it's not enough. You think it's
See,
something better.
it's the not enough piece. And again, I mean, you and I have these conversations. And it does impact how I show up in my family.
Hmm.
This last Christmas, let me start here. This last Christmas may have been, it's certainly as far as I remember, but may have been my first Christmas without anxiety,
Mm,
where I wasn't anxious on Christmas Day, either that someone wasn't there or who or this or the gift or did I get the right gift or they like their gift or what did I get and I didn't get and who did, are they mad at me, is that why I didn't get, right? Like all, and those who have dealt with anxiety know
hmm.
it doesn't have to be again grounded in reality, right? Like
Hmm.
I can get to spiraling out, believe me. I can promise you, I can think of a specific time, but I promise you at the end of some conversations we've had, I've been convinced, oh, bro thinks I'm an idiot. And then I have to kind of walk myself through and be like, why? Why would you think that based on that? What, come on, man. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? But like, I'll really like, and if I don't stop and go, whoa, 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 like I will spiral up to the next time I see you. Now I'm like, oh, don't say anything stupid because Ro thinks you're, you know. So that's my first Christmas without it, and I realized it was because I was totally present. I wasn't worried about, do I need to, my in-laws are here. Love my in-laws. I don't have a single in-law joke for you. They're awesome. But like, you know, do I need to like make sure dad is not bored? Like, should I be talking to him more? Like, we had conversations where we were having conversations.
Yeah.
We weren't. We didn't. And it was okay. And he didn't feel like I was rude to him, right? It just was my first time without that. And I say all that to say it's so grounded in presence. That's what struck me. I was just totally in the moment. There were even some moments, because I tend to be, you know, is everybody okay? Is everybody okay? Is everybody okay? And there was some times where I was just like, went into my bedroom and just closed the door, and not in a rude way, but just like, that is a lot of peopling.
Yeah.
Nothing personal to anybody. Seriously. But I never did that before. Like, it strikes me that I'm sure someone's watching this going, yeah, like, what are you, crazy? And yes, I am crazy. And like, I've got a lot of stuff going on. And yeah, like that made sense to me. That, you know, oh, I better make sure. Is there? And yeah, anyway, I just think it's important to highlight that we can't get to any of the stuff that you're talking about until we slow down enough to just be here now.
Yeah.
And like, then you can tell where you are. You can take a real inventory of where you want to go, whatever. But like, I was spending so much of my time in the past and the future. And I think it really impacted my parenting. I could barely watch my kids on scooters. Because not only were they going to fall, child's play. They were going to go down the hill in the traffic and be killed. That's obviously. And so obviously that's what's going to happen. And so I literally couldn't watch them. Like I'd look down at the sidewalk. Daphne would be the one, whatever, and I told her, like, I'm not trying to, like, I can't do this. And that's the level of anxiety that we kicked up in me. And I think I missed it, right? Like it's not, I never watched them, you know what I mean? But like,
no, I know.
I missed the moments I missed because I was so consumed with like, oh God, what's going to happen? And are they going to be that? And it's like, you could just enjoy that they're going down there. And if a bad thing happens, then, you know, you'll deal with that.
Because we're caught in the what if.
I know.
Everybody is. What if?
I know.
What if? And I even noticed it with Jacob too. I'm like, he's 9. He's like, well, what if this happens? I'm like, buddy, nothing's happened yet. Like I'm like, is this in the DNA? Like, cause I give him no cause for it.
I think it's in the DNA more broadly than you mean. I think it's in the DNA. When you say it's all, I think you're right. And it's like, I actually seriously don't want to go into politics, but I think more broadly, like when people are like, oh, white replacement theory, they're like, basically that's just a big, giant, like wild ass what if. Because when they describe it, I'm like, first of all, I don't know a single black person who has that aim, or any other kind of person who has the aim to like displace or enslave or whatever. But if you
it's white replacement theory?
Oh yeah, the theory is that, well, the Democrats, or however you want to view it, it's always whatever group, the woke folks, let's call them that. Let's say that group is like allowing immigration and doing all these things and DEI and everything because as white people are outnumbered, basically to replace them in the society.
Oh my God, oh God.
But you know, but
stop with the victimhood. I mean, come.
But that's what I'm saying. Like what a wild, like, you know how many steps of what if you have to get through? Like, you want to talk about not living in freaking reality. Like, that is crazy. Like, and I'm not saying that to be ugly or mean. I'm just like, what? Like,
it's like, what
people are lucky to organize a good block party. You think? Like, what are you talking about, man?
It's so true.
Wish.
Like, have you ever tried to get at least 3 people together for lunch?
I mean,
It's not
that's
happening.
what. That's my answer to a lot of conspiracies. I'm like, come on, you're giving people way too much credit. Seriously, like, tell me you haven't. I had a friend. He finally was like, we are meeting on this day
Yeah,
at this time,
yeah.
right? Because literally for a year, I was like, oh yeah, no. So and I wasn't blowing them off.
No, I know. But Orlando, it's like
So yeah,
even with a
you're
phone
right.
call, even with a phone call, I'm
Ah,
like, oh,
please,
I
please.
maybe I'll do
It,
it on Monday. I'm like, it's just to catch up.
I
It's
know, I know, I know. Now I want to make an appointment. Hey, I need to live a little. How's 3:45 on Monday for you?
I,
Like, what are you talking about, man?
in New York, I was out in the streets with everybody all the time back in the 90s and the early 2000s. I was out.
Oh yeah. Oh
Growing up.
yeah. No, don't listen. If I have to go beyond like 10 minutes from my house, there's a whole
I
decision
know.
making
But
matrix.
you know what's wild about that too, Orlando, is like we were out in the streets with our friends meeting up. We didn't even have cell
I know.
phones
I
to
know. How did anybody
confirm.
meet up? How did anybody do anything?
We just trusted. Like, I'll see you at Dunkin' Donuts. Okay,
Oh,
fine.
okay.
8
And
o'clock.
then we're both there. Like, oh, magic. Right.
We didn't have, we had beepers maybe, but like when I say like
Beepers. I had a
and
beeper.
and a beeper, what's a beeper gonna do?
Right. No, that's
Yeah.
funny though. I
But
remember that.
we didn't have any of that. Like we
No,
just
I
showed,
know.
or you knew you could show up someplace and your friends would be there.
And that is a thing though that as you get older, I feel like goes away. And I've
Yes.
actually thought about even like lodges and whatever. I think it's a way of trying to like recreate that brand of community because you're 100% right?
Hmm.
Like when I was in college on Friday, Friday afternoon, if you want to run some ball, go up to Payne Whitney on the fifth
Yep.
floor. They gonna
Yep.
be there.
Yep.
They
Yep.
gonna be there.
Or
That's
go
where
to
they
like
gonna
when
be.
you're older, go to Dublin Pub. You'll see him at Dublin Pub. Go to that
That's
bar.
right.
You'll see him at that bar. Go to the parking lot. Go to that park. Go to that sump. Go to the train tracks behind the
Exactly.
building.
Right. And there's something about not having that ease. But anyway, go ahead.
I think, well, I was just going to say, I think in a way, that's kind of what I enjoy about like open mics in a way out in
Hmm.
Atlanta or just around.
That's
Um,
interesting. I get
you
that.
just go in and you might not know the comics, but you know there's a community of comics.
Right.
And now that I've been out here a little longer, I'll see people I know and I'm like, oh, there's this community that's unspoken because we're all comics. And there's like in Atlanta, there's crowds too. So it's like you've got this crowd, but then you get to meet other comics and like, oh, you're from New York, LA.
Mm,
So I
mm-hmm.
think that's kind of part of that
Mm-hmm.
community that you know you can go and find people that are like, oh, I'm comics too. Like, doesn't matter if you're married, kids, single, nothing.
Mm,
Like, we're all out here trying to do comedy, And I think that's what's so fun for me about the shows. That's
right.
different than going to a parent event. Like we have STEM nights night, and we'll see people. Oh, hey, because it's the rush of the kids and so it's not really
Mm-hmm.
like the
Yeah,
same.
no, where you're engaging. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I want to get to the falling in love piece that we talked about, falling in love with life piece, and I want to point out that you're really talking about the power of community in all these different ways. And it might be the community of your friends who hang out at the pool hall. It might be right. And we don't think of that as community necessarily, but it is. And one of the things I missed immediately and have always missed and makes me think like at some point, even if it's going to turn into like really I just do open mics and maybe whatever,
Hmm.
is I liked just being in a room with comics. I liked being in a room. I definitely thought I'd found my tribe and still feel in some ways that's my tribe. You're not supposed to use tribe like that. So I was talking about that. So sorry,
Oh,
but I'd
sorry.
found my group
I
and
forget.
I know but that I found my group and some of my best memories are, I'm sure you and I've done it. You're up on stage at some open mic and you're working on some new thing you just thought of in the car, whatever. And I'm like, oh wait, bro, if when you blah 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 blah,
Hmm.
what if you toss it up? And I mean, and the some of the people who I've had that moment with, I've only met him personally a few times, but I'm a big fan of Brian Scalaro just as a human being. Like, I just think he's a great, just like every interaction I've had with him, like you're just awesome. And I remember one time we were up at a place in the valley, and I went up, and I don't remember what joke it was, but I remember him saying to me, you're a good writer," and me being really excited because I knew that he, done some stuff. And then he pitched me a tag. I still remember being at the bar and me pitching me this tag and thinking like, that is so awesome. Like I love doing it. I love doing it for other people. There were jokes I thought of that maybe I even did this with you at some point where I was like, "Ooh, that's funny," but I can't tell that joke. It'd be like some woman joke or whatever, like whatever it be, or some gay joke, and I'd be like, "Ooh, I can't tell that joke, but that's funny. If you want it, you can have it because I can't tell it."
No, I love that. I've gotten people like, "Oh, you know what you should try?" I love that. Because people are like, "Do you not?" I'm like, I love it because you never know what somebody can give. I've had some of my best tags from people like, "Oh, are you?" Or just talking to my regular friends that are so funny. They're like, "Oh, so you're this, so you're that." So, like, it's what, and honestly, like you and I, like the two things that made me think of with like that community that we have, like where we've all collectively been at like either an open mic or a booked open mic. And like I remember there was a guy that got up there dressed as like, I don't know, an actual bear and just started doing this random, and we're all sitting there like,
okay,
this is this is this is comedy.
This is comedy.
It's comedy.
Hey,
We've
come
all
on, let's see.
together where the most random crap has happened. The most random person that's just like, I'm just gonna stop by and do stand, because anybody can, right? An open mic, and you're just sitting there like, okay, this is our life. This is what we do.
This is our life. You were probably there when we closed that iteration of the open mics at Liquid Zoo, and do you remember Fat James did his thing? See, I didn't know that Fat James had that bit. So, and by the way, for anyone who's now like, that was his staging. He went by Fat James. Like that's not like
that was his name. We're not saying Fat James,
And his ultimate bit that night was stripping down to a barely there G-string. I remember thinking like, how do you explain to anybody why this is okay? Because it doesn't seem like a thing that should be. R.I.P. But I really like after that we were tight because I was like, that's hilarious. But on the way out, and I've been trying to say this in a way that is okay for an Aligned family show. On the way out, I walk up to him like real serious and I go, "Hey man, I'm not gonna lie to you. You got me half excited in there." And he let out a laugh so loud. Like we were friends at that. Like in that moment, it was like we are officially friends because he made me laugh. I made him laugh.
He used to sell underwear too. 300 pounds of true? Yeah, I've done so many because he had this bit that I'll always remember. Like he said that he had this bit that. And he was called Fat James because to tell the audience, he's a humongous guy, right? And I love Fat James. I remember visiting him on life support. That was intense because I was like, oh my God, this is like our friend, right? So, but I will tell you, he had a bit that will pop in my head every once in a while because he'll go, I always like to wait to be the last one on the plane, because somebody will sit there and think, oh man, nobody, I've got the seat up to myself, and they're feeling, and he always goes, they're feeling pretty good about this flight. So I come.
That so sounds like him.
And when I tell you, and that's what and the Sportsman's Lodge and being out on that heated patio where they only kept one heater on for us, and you're like, oh, it's LA.
Oh my God, Sportsman's Lodge. I forgot about
Jimmy
that
and
place.
Joey, and then like somebody was heckling Jimmy and Joey, and they were heckling back, and the comics like, whatever the fourth Jimmy, because there was always a new Jimmy, and like
so everybody just like, I'm sure everybody's fell out.
We were cracking up, and then I remember you had me on a gig. It was outside. Muratori was on it, and it was for that woman.
Oh yeah.
And she was wearing a freaking hat for her head, and goes, "Look at you! You look like." I mean, and there was a horse, like a mule or something.
Like seriously, it was crazy, completely nuts. Some of the gigs we've all done,
We
I told you, we roasted a man's foot. I told you this story. I get a call. I'm like, wait, what? Billy Bats calls me. Of course, it's Billy Bats. And then we're gonna get to the other conversation because that's become like memory lane. But like quickly, he hits me up. He's like, "Hey man, you want to do a roast?" I'm like, "Well, I've never done a roast before, but you know, what are we talking about?" He goes, "This guy's getting his foot amputated," and he tells me a story. The guy's base jumping, blah blah blah. He's getting his foot amputated, and he and his friends are throwing a big party, and they're gonna roast this guy's foot. You know what? Yeah, I'm in. Like, I'm in. Like, how many times? Like, what do you think? There's gonna be another time in your life? You think there's gonna be another time in your life where someone's gonna call you and go, "Hey, you want to make jokes at a soon-to-be amputee?" I was like, I'm in.
Absolutely.
100%. I'm in. 100%. Like, what time? Right?
And
yeah.
And let me guess. Muratori was on that roast for sure. He had to.
Muratori probably was. Yeah. And then who else was on that road? Anyway, but yes, Muratori, I'm pretty sure was there because that's. I mean, come on. I mean, yeah. I mean, well, when you go by serial killer of comedy, I think people know when to reach out to you. Go ahead.
He's going to take the foot. Now, here's the other thing. Okay, listen.
I love Muratori, but he's nuts. And he knows I think he's nuts.
And let me tell you something. What's crazy is, like, it doesn't matter what scene you're on, LA or New York. I remember when I was in New York, I just shows up in Connecticut, and my friend Johnny Benson, he used to have extreme comedy, and you go up and do a gig up in like Orange, Connecticut, right? Like at a bar, Martini Blues, called. But he'd always call me like, "Hey, look, before we do the show at Martini Blues, we're gonna do another show, but it's like a benefit for a woman. She doesn't have legs. Don't mention it." Oh, okay, cool. Like, let's go do the benefit for the woman with no legs.
But like, don't say anything. Don't say anything.
About her legs. Okay, cool. She's gonna wheel out. Cool. Okay, but like that was what literally. Oh, hey, you know, there's a wrestling match. You want to? Of course, I'm gonna go to the wrestling match. There's a this. Of course, I'm gonna go to this. There's a gig in a park. You know.
Oh my God, I've performed. Yeah. Well,
absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
Do you want to use the megaphone? Maybe not. I don't.
Right. We'll see. Right. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll just scream. Whatever. We'll figure it out. You know what's funny though? Wait, no, go. Because I want you to finish that thought. But I see a connection. But sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I just think that people see comedy in the Netflix specials and the clubs and this and that. You have no idea.
No, it's insane.
What comedy really is. And not that they should know. They're regular people. But if you only knew, so much of the comedy is in so many non-comedy places.
I mean, you're not kidding. I mean, and then the worst is when you're in a non-comedy place and only some of the people there are now there for comedy. So the non-comedy people are like, what is happening? And they hate your guts. Like, they hate your guts off rip. There's like, good luck. Good luck trying to win them over or even just trying to get them to not want to kill you because it's not great. But here's the connection that I was making, and I think it plays into what we were talking about earlier, being present and falling in love with life, which I love, or falling in love with life again, which I love that phrasing. I think we're talking about it. I think we're talking about the fact that, and maybe it's because as a comic, you're constantly paying attention. I know, especially when I first started doing comedy. Oh my God. I was like, cameras. What's funny about cameras? Computers. What's funny about computers? Right? But it makes you look at the world. Like it makes you pay attention to what's going on. You watch two people having a conversation and you pay attention to them across the room having a conversation. You're like, you know, that's funny. That, you know, you can totally tell if a woman thinks a man is attractive. Like from across the room, you don't know what they're talking. And then you kind of like run with it. And maybe that becomes a bit, and maybe it becomes, you know, silence at an open mic. But you're paying attention to life. And I think we can bring that to other parts of our life.
Yes. Staying in the moment. Present.
Staying in the moment, right? When you're dealing with your kids. Some of my favorite moments when I think back with my kids, it's not like, oh, it's Christmas morning, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I remember one time I went to watch a game and my daughter and her friend Kelsey, who I just adore, is just, you know, extended child status for me. they're here and they're bored, and I'm watching them, and I know I need to entertain them, but I also know I need to see this game. Like those two things both need to happen. Like I was like, look, come on, man.
Yeah.
I forget what game it was now, but at the time I remember being like, I'm not missing this game.
Yeah.
And one of them mentioned making me up, and I was like, okay. And I have a video of it somewhere. I will see if I can find it and post it.
Yes.
Because it made me laugh so hard. But I promise you, the two of them made me up. They set up their phone to get it all, and then they had this like sped up version that they showed, and that's one of my favorite memories of my entire life.
Oh, that's so cute.
I mean, it was just,
and they probably had a blast. They probably core memory.
You know, we could have gone for Froyo. It might have been fine. But like they wouldn't have remembered it. Like I'm sure that if I said, Kelsey, do you remember the time you made me up in the kitchen while I was watching?
Absolutely.
No. You know, and I think when we live like that, it's easier to be in the space you're talking about, being in love with life. Because I guess I'm extending this now, getting a little heavier, but part of being in love, I've found, marriage, blah blah blah. So not, you know, expert, but having lived some, is loving all of it.
Yeah.
I'm at my best when I love all of it. Like the things about Daphne that drive me crazy. And I know she's, you know, there's a list 10 times longer about me to drive her crazy. But if you can love it all, like on some fundamental level, I think that's the space you want to be in. And in a way, you don't even to me, I don't even have to like it all.
Yeah.
But I have to love it all. This is my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We if you think of, they say 13.8 billion years, right? The universe has been here. 13.8 billion. And we get, on average, somewhere between a 50 and 100 of 13.8 billion years. And we're going to spend that doing anything but going, wow. Like I feel like we should be up every morning like, holy crap, the sun came up again.
Yeah, and you know, it's what you just mentioned too. If you really like want the actual like mind blowingness of that, you know, there's that documentary on Netflix, The Universe, Morgan Freeman.
Yes, I watched that.
He said, like, you know, I mean, this whole Earth cracked open. You know, like, I mean, continents split. You know, like, and he, in one part of like the series, it's like it started raining and it stayed like that for a short while, about 1 million years, and you're like, 1 million years it rained.
Yeah.
And I was complaining about a couple of cold days.
Yeah. Last week sucked. Oh, really? Okay. Because there's 1 million freaking years. Like when you think, and I think that too, even about the fact that like when you can live there, I find that some of the things that people say, especially in Christianity, which is the religion I'm most familiar with, when there's a lot of talk of like heaven, or there's a lot of talk of like, I'm like, you're missing the miracle. You keep looking for a burning bush, and the fact that I can talk while my heart beats is a miracle. What the hell is that?
I know. Well, because then people can always hear the thing about people, in sense, like a generalization really about people. And this is because people, because I don't know if it's programming or whatever it is because somebody could always go, yeah, but how am I supposed to fall in love with life, all of it, when my husband's leaving me, or I can't find work? So, but that's the thing. It's not that it's not happening, but it's how we're going to perceive it. And it doesn't mean that we have to stuff down feelings or not feel.
No, not at all.
You could have the feelings, but we can't live in those feelings because people make that their identity.
Yes.
Like they make, like, that's the whole white replacement thing. It's like an identity that it has to be.
Right. Right.
You know, and it's what if it's exactly what you said? I honestly think about, you know, my son will be like, you know, Mom, there's the metaverse, right? And there's all different kinds of dimensions. And I'm like, yeah, like,
right, yeah,
okay. But I mean, I'm like, some of it, I'm like, is this just he knows, or YouTube? But anyway,
Right.
but
Right.
I will say, if you want to know what a miracle is, I went to Family Bingo night and tell me why 067 wasn't pulled once, because I was waiting for with the camera on and everything. That right there, you tell me
That's funny.
67 wasn't pulled. But when I say like, there's this. I know you've probably seen this diagram. It's like it pulls back from Earth, like from the into the
Yes.
sky. It pulls back more. Then you see Earth. Then you see the planets.
Mhm.
Then you see a black hole.
Mhm.
Then you see
Mhm.
another the sun. The fact that, like, somebody said it, I don't know where the original quote comes from, but the fact that we are literally on a rock that is moving.
Yeah. No,
All,
it's
we're spinning.
wild.
And we're all like, cool. No, now I'm bothered by this. Got my latte. Like, what?
You got my latte wrong. Ruined my day. Right.
I mean,
Right.
what if the viral hoax that I heard, the viral rumor, I don't know if you heard it. I was cracking up because I was talking to Chris and Jacob about it. Like, the viral rumor, I don't know if you heard, gravity is going to cease to exist for 7 seconds on
What?
August 12th of 2026 of this year. It's like
Come on, y'all.
it's a hoax, right? But I'm
Come
like,
on, y'all.
then like, we're Googling how long could we last on Earth if but the fact is, we are literally worried about the small stuff. What if the atmosphere
Right.
spontaneously bursts and we're all swept away, everybody? We're done. So, like, you think that the dinosaurs, what if one of the dinosaurs that day was like, you know what really bothers me about you? Boom! Oh, nothing now.
Damn velociraptors think they own everything. Anyway. Can you imagine?
Perspective,
Yeah.
right? It's perspective. We are
It is.
on a tiny rock in this universe next to another universe that probably has beings that are way more advanced than us that probably just fly by and go, look at them, little
Look how they
toddlers.
live. Yeah, look how they live. What is
They're
that?
they're still fighting. Like, I'm just saying, like,
they're
we have
still
no
fighting.
idea.
I think is if anyone's watching, I believe they're still fighting is part of the like. Yeah, don't contact them yet. This is
They're not ready.
We don't need this. We don't
They're
need
not.
this.
They're so look at them right now. This guy.
What are you doing?
This guy says I own Greenland. He doesn't even know. Like, come on. I mean, really? Why would anybody stop and invade us? We are a mess. Okay? Why would they come here?
Yeah,
Why would
they need to take this on? Yeah, exactly. It's like you watch the family next door fighting, and you're like, hey, you guys want to be adopted? Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. It would be absolutely insane. Yeah. No. Thank you though. It's part. I hope I got to mindfulness later. Like mindfulness as a term, or like that wasn't something that they talked about in my childhood. Now I know, I grew up, I'm a gray beard, so that just wasn't the same thing. Not that no one was doing meditation or anything, but just it wasn't part of my world.
Ain't nobody doing meditation in my house in Long Island, I'll tell you that.
Like at all. You know what I'm saying? Like at all. And so I found mindfulness really helpful.
Yes.
For something you mentioned earlier, triggering. And I think this is like specifically important to parenting. Because a lot of the work I've done most recently is me going back and like picking up a string of little to bigger Orlandos and being like, yeah, okay, buddy. like, all right, you got 2 things can be true. You got screwed. Also, you got to knock it off because I got a whole life to go live and you got to knock it off. Right.
Yeah.
But as an example, with my son in particular, his examples have been coming to me more recently, so I don't know what that's about. But anyway, we're very similar in some ways, and he would have issues with like falling behind on homework, not handing stuff in, and I was tough on him about it because I was, and I thought I'm gonna make sure it's not like that for him, and I was on it, but he wasn't gonna go back to 10th grade and hand in my essay that was late, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm on, like, not standing there, I wasn't like, you're going to heal my childhood wounds. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, as I've learned more, there are more moments where I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
right? Being late. Like my mother was like chronically doesn't even describe it. Like we'd be like, we're leaving first thing in the morning. It's 3 o'clock and we're still all in the house. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. Like literally like what? So I became like a drill sergeant about time. About 10 years ago, I was like, I'm done with this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sure, I'm on time. I'm unhappy. Daphne's unhappy. I've made the kids totally, unhappy / nervous. So great. We're on time.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's really awesome, Orlando. That's really awesome. We're on time. Everybody's scarred, but we're on time. So that's awesome. So, but like, again, I had to do some work to unpack like, ooh, this time thing, my relationship to this time thing. It's just not helpful. It's not healthy. It doesn't make me bad for when I was trying to be on time, like with all my might. And it doesn't make me bad for now when I'm sort of like, I do my best. But if my two choices are, because I would show up places sweating. There were times I would drive somewhere and then have to sit in the car and blast the air conditioning so I could calm down. Well, why not just be calmer on your way there? And then we're not, trying to reverse biology. So
I know.
I think getting these things and then being mindful of when they happen. And
Yeah.
I think when we're present, we're able to do those things. Like I learned when I did mindfulness for a while, I learned that when I get like angry, like somebody like interpersonally angry, my arms tingle. And I'm sure that's because at some point in my life that meant probably there's going to be a fight.
Yeah.
So that's my body.
My eye twitches. Like, right? I'm like,
here we go. Right. It's like when like, oh, we're off to the now. But once you know that, when you feel the twitch, you can say, whoa, 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 whoa. There's not going to be a fight.
Yeah.
We're at bingo night.
Yeah.
Maybe this lady was rude about the popcorn. You know what I mean? Like, I know I had moments like that. Like, and then the times I didn't, I was like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like, you know.
Well, actually, it's funny because I had to really tell my son to like, I had to be like, Jacob, this is not that big of a deal because he was one number away from like getting the whole blackout bingo board and he wanted this mini fridge, and we'd already run 2 rounds, like we had 2 parts and he wanted, and but this was like 8:00. They're like, listen, we got to be done with this bingo, like, and then they're like, we'll call it 2 more numbers. People are leaving.
And that's it.
Night, right?
It's over. It's over.
A little kid like said bingo. He had one number he had to get. He said bingo, and Jacob heard him say, "Oh, I'll have the AirPods." But then he goes, "Oh, you know what? I'll have the mini fridge." And he's like, "Why?" I was like, "Okay, listen. First of all, fridge is a fridge. What do you think you're going to keep up in your room? Like, what snacks do you think I'm depriving you of? Like, what do you?"
There's a room downstairs, full fridge.
Whole kitchen. Right. Like, what are you going to start your studio apartment up in your room? Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Like, and he goes really like, how the kids are. Ugh. It's like, but it's a mini fridge. They sell them at Walmart. Like it's a fridge, and like, but it's like, and you have to like. There was a point where I was like, Jacob, if you don't get in the car, like, stop at the drop, you will not have. I will. What did I say? I said, I will take all your chargers for your phone, and he goes, he's like, well, I'll still do this. I'm like, I'll take your phone. I'll take every electronic you love. You just get in the car, but you gotta like the little wins, right? Like, yes, I was aggravated. I'm in an aggravating situation right now, but it's aggravating. It's as aggravating as I make it to be, right?
That's it.
And honestly, I had a moment this morning, and I think sometimes we don't give ourselves credit for the small little victories. And when I say this is going to sound like the smallest thing to people, but I feel like you might understand this, Orlando, especially from growing up in New York and driving in New York. And in New York, like when I say my mom has gotten out and screamed at another car, and when I say I've gotten out and I've kicked people's cars and said, I'm gonna fight you.
Right.
So when I say I always to work on this, and Al-Anon's helped quite a bit. But I'm saying this morning when I was dropping off the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pickup line, man, a drop off line. I
I do
watch,
not miss those days.
right? It's like, and I always tell the kids, it's etiquette. You go, I go. You go, I go. We have a system. You come this way.
How is that? How is this complicated? Anyway, go ahead. Tell your story.
This is common sense,
I
right?
mean, come on.
So I watch, and I always get bothered. I'm like, oh, that person's just rude, you guys. Instead of saying,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, and Jayla will always be like, Mom, what's the matter? I'm like, this person's just being rude. Yeah, like, but this morning I watched like a car go and cut like I watched all these things happen where another car came and cut another one off. And normally I would literally be saying something. I even if it wasn't me, I comment that person. And when I was done, I was like, wow, I noticed it, didn't say a word. And I was like, Ro, you gotta say, you know what? You were actually unbothered during drop. And we didn't leave at the time I wanted to leave, with a little later. By some miracle of God, I didn't have a huge like. I just said, how about we just take the tiny win? Because some people are like, what's the like? Really, that makes you
That's
like?
I think that's a huge deal. Yeah.
It's. I didn't let people bother me this morning. For that moment. And it's like, well, let's do that and try and see if the next hour or two somebody won't bother you.
And it doesn't mean, because even though I didn't consciously think that, it has been something that as I've been doing my work, and I'm not like, oh, I'm enlightened now, but as I've like made progress, it's not to never be angry. Like, I think people like, I know there's a part of me that thought like, oh, and then I'll be like, blissed out Eckhart Tolle talking style, and it's like, no, maybe for someone it goes that way, but for me, I find the more powerful thing is, well, two things over what you said, but one, the more powerful thing is I'm angry, and then I get to make some decisions about that anger. One of the things I learned in mindfulness was be the sky, not the weather, and that really helped me. That's really that just like that visual, I was like, I get that. Weather comes and goes, right?
Yes.
And I just think that's incredibly powerful. But the other one is, I don't have to have an opinion on everything.
Yeah.
And that is totally liberating. The number of times recently that I've seen something on Facebook or seen something on Threads or whatever, and I've been like, not getting involved in that. Like, sure, I'm sure I could stop here and make some comment and someone would respond and we could take up some hours out of each other's life. But I don't really wanna, and I don't. Fine, you like that artist? I think they're a nightmare. I got to argue with you now? Good, fine. Go do that. That's fantastic. So I see some story. Oh, this person jumped into a bear enclosure, and I kind of get upset, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need to have an opinion on that. I'm not in charge of the zoo. I'm not in charge of the bears. I'm not in charge of that person.
You didn't jump into the bear enclosure.
I didn't jump in. Why is my energy being expended?
I know.
And the better I've gotten at being present, the better I've gotten at saying, yeah, I'm just not giving that energy. And I used to let a lot of my energy go out in random directions.
Yeah. Well, also, I think with that being in the moment, it's really one of those like, so with everything that's like going on, I will say, like, I had these shows this past weekend, and when I tell you, they were like life, kind of like breathing life into, it was, when I say so much fun, like, because I was in the moment, I was watching comics, I was headlining the shows, and also when you're like in this weird transitional part of your stand-up where your material's sort of changing, and not everything you say is like, oh, it's a different
a different part of life now.
A different part of life. People you refer to that you talked about a lot, and now you're like, oh, I even told Chris, I was like, I called you my husband, he was kind of like, oh, okay. But honestly, when I say I was so in the moment and
That's
so
funny, by the way.
I love that term. I heard it before. And I literally, Orlando, it was like I walked out of that gig and when I say it was cold, it was crisp there was snow on the ground, and I was like, man, do I love this? I love that. What, like, it was
Yep.
a shot. It was like
Yep.
this to to hear those people were laughing so incredibly hard. And we had this really funny moment, me and another comic, we were talking, and I
Mm.
was like, my life is just kind of falling apart in this. And then somebody comes up and they go, you were so funny. You're like, oh my God, thank you so much. Yeah, so
I
what
know. I
happened
know.
is,
I
like
know. I know. I
it's
know.
you-
It's
it's
crazy.
so funny. But when I say, and I was just talking about this on a live earlier, for me, what brings me back in the moment to remember that life is okay no matter what is
Yep.
laughing. And when I say,
That's a good point.
when I laugh,
Yeah.
when I see a clip that cracks me up, when I see just a sketch that
100%.
it's that laughter that you're like, oh my God, this is so funny. This is so fun. And even when I have a moment where I make myself laugh because of a silly,
Right.
stupid thing that I have, I'm like, really? It's
Yeah.
like you are ridiculous, and I
Yeah.
love it. If I could just go, life could be ridiculous.
Right.
Ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. No, no. And yeah, off it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you could change that, like, because I know some people are like, no, life is serious, life is hard. Like they just have to beat that into you, and you're like, okay, there isn't like we're not saying that it can't be hard at times or things like you said. It's not like we're not supposed to get angry. I think people get it really confused. I think people really think like you're zen and happiness, you
Right.
can never
Right.
be bothered. That's not how it is.
No.
What?
Certainly
How?
not how it is for me. Yeah.
Yeah, how are we not going to get bothered by things? But
Hmm.
But are we gonna stay bothered? Are we gonna let that be that the thing that we're like, "Oh, no, I'm just" it's things aren't go okay, well, I have to say, you know what? I who knows what's gonna happen? You know what? Whatever you see for me, just bring me what's supposed to be mine.
Right. Right.
I don't know how to operate now, especially when you're like, "Well, I don't know how else to think when I don't know how life's gonna look." When you're uncertain about life and not in like, "I'm gonna die, I've got 6 months to live." I mean, who knows? Who knows? I don't wanna be like
Right.
one of those, "We're on a podcast," and then Rose sent you and
Right. Right. Right.
that story on Facebook, like, "My friend died." But when I honestly say, like, really, when we're just not sure how life's gonna look,
Right.
so what am I gonna do? Sit here and just go, or am I just gonna go, "Okay, well, what are the things I can do today? What makes me happy? What do I enjoy? How do I learn?"
I This came to me once in mid meditation. I may have shared it with you before because I share it with folks. It really helps me, and it is: I am powerless.
Mhm.
I am powerful.
Mm,
Where is my power?
that is great.
And when I get back to that, a lot of my stress level goes, because you know what you can't control? Some idiot in the pickup line. You know what you can't control? What the mayor of the city did today. You know what you
Yep.
can't control, right? What your kids are gonna do, what your spouse is gonna do. You can't even control if the Wi-Fi is gonna go out, right? You can't like. So then it really helps me to be like, I've noticed that. Is there anything for me to do with it? No, then I need to move on. And you saw it, but I'll share that the last week and a half has probably been as me as I have felt in a while. And part of that has been we're recording and I'm getting the shows are getting this rhythm. And then I kind of stumbled into creating that DJT is effing you video where I had this like literally a week and a half ago. This wasn't even an idea.
Mhm.
And then like a week ago Sunday, I like had this big idea for a song. So I go in GarageBand. I send it to somebody to help me with the video. And then one guy's like, "Hey, check this out." And the next thing we know, like this thing is like growing. It's like basically becomes a full-time job for that week because you can see with all the video and stuff.
Yeah.
But that one for me was like, that's what I get to do. I can't crash a cabinet meeting.
No.
I can't, right? But I'll put this in the world and maybe 5 people will see it and maybe 5 million people will see it. But that was what I could do. And that was what I had to offer in my voice, in my way. And that's what I could do. And it made me feel like, yeah, I told a friend, I was like, they were, are you going to go to No Kings? And I told one friend the whole story. I said, no. But I was like, you don't want me at those marches. Like, you guys are trying to maintain, like, you guys don't want martial law to start. If one of them touch me, martial law starting tomorrow because we fight. You know what I mean? Like, you have to, right? So I don't have that to offer. Not that. Right? I just don't. And I think, but then it made me go, well, but I still want to do something. What it is I want to do? I was like, you know what? I can offer up ideas. I can offer up insight. I really can do that stuff. And frankly, I can fight. So when the fighting part comes, let me know. I'll probably participate. But like that part of like, we're going to march and they may mess with us, but we're not going to do anything to maintain the peace. Like, that's not a good job for me to have.
No.
It's just not a good job. Like, it's fine. And I tell people all the time, just because I say I'll fight doesn't mean I think I'll win. It just means that's the point at which the fighting is going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I may get trounced. I'm not saying I'm the toughest guy who ever lived. I'm just telling you, you put your hands on me, we fight. That's all.
I'm just saying it might be that scene where Ralphie finally fights the bully and it's just, when you're just like, I just need a reason to beat down. I mean, those kids, 100%. I don't know if you saw that video of the guy, the adult that got her. And when I say watching those kids beat down, somebody did, I forget who did a video that said, you got beat by kids with a Minecraft backpack on. You should be ashamed of yourself. And literally,
he really did though.
He really did. And I was so moved to push down that little girl and like but then watching these kids, and I'm like, good for you kids, because you know what, you guys were the COVID kids too. You were like,
I know, enough already.
Enough
already. What do you people? Listen. People talk all the time about kids these days. I'm like, I have nothing to say to kids these days because they have been screwed.
Yeah.
And I can just give you a list as long as, like you say, the COVID years. I can't imagine. I remember looking at my high school age kids and thinking, oh my God, the only thing that got me through high school was my friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like, hey kids, why don't you do the part of school everybody kind of hated, but only that part?
Yeah.
Indefinitely. Like, I'm like, that they don't just across the board just hate us or just hit us with cars when they get a chance. I think says a lot of good things about them, because what are we talking about?
Yeah. And when I was like, first of all, an adult getting out to attack kids. I'm like,
this is where we are.
This is how embarrassing. How embarrassing. And I mean and they just beat the hell out of them. I was like, good for you kids.
As was I. I was like, this. I mean, and like you said, it's two things. Good for you kids, but also I was like, I can't believe this is where we are.
Mm-hmm.
That we are all like, yes, it is now necessary for our children to be in physical conflict with some man. Like, you know what you could have done, sir? You could have kept driving your car.
Oh my God.
Like, who are you? But this is where we,
and they were protesting. Like, you didn't even, you were just like, you just had to be an agitator, and then you got your ass beat by teenagers. And you know what? And also too, by the way, these teenagers that have to go to school and still do lockdown drills and still, and honestly, when I'm dropping off the kids, I'm just like, God, just say a prayer to protect my babies. And the staff that's out there in the cold, waving to you with smiles on their face. And, it's just, there's so much that's going on that I'm like, these kids, I just was so embarrassed for adults. I was like, this.
Yeah, no, it's a horrible look. That's the thing. It's funny sometimes, as I said about my personality, I can be ready to put them up. I looked at that man and I actually didn't want to put him up. Like, I would have thought my reaction would have been, let me at him. I was just like, how sad. Like that one made me sad. Like, yes, I was like, good for those kids, and I'm glad because I mean, who knows what he would have done to that girl? I mean, what are we doing here? But I just thought, like, wow, like how sad. This is where we are.
Yeah.
This is where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So
It
again, well, the
we
flip side of not dealing with your triggers is you end up jumping out of your car to fight a teenage girl. You know.
I know. And I also, I have a thing. So my father-in-law's been watching he watches a lot of documentaries, and he's watching one on Pearl Harbor, right? And he was talking about, to be honest, like I guess at one point in high school, I probably stopped paying attention when Pearl Harbor came around because I was, I think by then drinking Zimas. But anyway, there was a lot of like history that I was like, what happened?
Right.
But to be fair, when I
funny.
went to high school, they kind of were like the Civil War, and by World War I, they were like, oh, it got started from an assassination of Ferdinand Duke. That's pretty much the only fact about World War I know. And then, the big one, World War II, and then
right.
the pattern at Vietnam and all that, right? But I say that because my first thought was like, they're telling their stories, right? Like there was, they were talking about how there was a dance the night before, and by the time, like they didn't think the attack was going to be as serious. It was very fascinating. I was like, I should read more about that. But to hear their experiences and like,
sure, like the firsthand
from some of the survivors or just people in the military and stuff like that. And literally, and there was a Japanese man too that was talking about it. I'm assuming he was on the other side. Anyway, but when I say it's interesting to hear how events played during the time with the only newspapers being the form of communication, radio,
right.
I think about if this was modern times, like, I mean, if we had the technology back then, some dude would be on TikTok like, Japanese are coming, like whatever they would do. I don't, you know what I mean? Like
the Pearl Harbor challenge, right?
Right, like I'm out here in the. I know I'm not supposed to be out here. Like there'd be some dummy out there live streaming, and then get hit with a bomb, like, and probably keep going. Like, oh my
right. Oh, look at my follows like tripled. It was totally worth it.
Anybody see my foot?
Anybody see my foot?
What? That's why sometimes I'm like, with all this, like. That's why I kind of go back to the absurdity and the ridiculousness and the comedy of everything. Because, as much as like I appreciate what Walter Madison's doing and Jordan is out there doing, like they're all out there like really fighting for everything, but they also show the ridiculousness and absurdity of it also,
which helps.
Cracks me up too.
Yeah, no, it's wild. Did you see the one? And then we'll wrap up. But did you see? Was he the one who did Cuomo? Like Cuomo had the press conference, and then he came to the press conference and did Cuomo. I think it was that group. I'm trying to remember who did it, but it was. I'll try to find it and send to you. Tears.
Oh my god!
Because this guy's up there doing his shtick, and you know how comics like you pull out the, you know what I mean? Like you distill it down. So like, and I mean, he nailed it. And you could I was like, that is more effective.
Oh my God.
You go there and scream, oh, F you.
Blah,
no.
Blah.
But just like, I am going to reveal that you are such a clown.
That's what they do. I mean, Jordan went to one of the things and goes, what do you like about, well, he's going to get the criminals out of the country. Oh, so you don't want criminals in the country? No. But,
right?
But you're president. Oh, you donated to his legal team for his criminal case? Like, it was because they're not screaming at them. They're literally just saying.
Yeah.
But
you just said this.
And it's almost you have to laugh because you're like,
yeah,
this can't be real. Yeah. But it is real.
But it is real. But I think it's important for us to laugh in part so that we don't drive ourselves crazy.
Oh my God.
I like what you said about the power of laughter. And look, we're two people who chose to do stand-up. So obviously laughter is something we appreciate. But I believe what you said about the importance of it. And it's not that I don't take things seriously. Some of the best stuff I've written, and not to be like immodest, like, oh, some of my most hilarious material, but like, I've written a lot of bits over the years. And some of the best stuff I've written has not at all been about a silly topic.
Mm-hmm.
It's about some of the like most serious,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's been some of the best stuff because I think sometimes it helps. I know it helps me to process, and I think we help audiences to process it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
When Chris Rock did his infamous black people and N-words bit. I was shocked to learn years later that he only did it that time. That's not an on, because in my head, that is like a quintessential, and he just did it for that special, but it was so sharp.
Mm-hmm.
And it stripped away, and of course, if you want to get into nuances, but I'm saying like it stripped away the nonsense and it just said, this is the deal. And I think everybody just went, all right, yeah. So I think sometimes it helps us.
And honestly, when I watched Chappelle do that in one of his, well, I guess it's an older special now, but when he talked about like Anthony Bourdain had the best job in the world, going around the world, eating and drinking, and he took his life. And he goes, I have a friend from high school and then he did that whole story about how he was going to law school, but he gave it all up because he married this woman and she took everything. And now he's a manager at Foot Locker. And this guy is still alive. Like he just went into like, I don't know, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah. But right. And then you have to like,
but he's right.
But he's right. And you have an opportunity to like engage with the idea. And I do think that's important. I think it's important in our lives. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw a video earlier and I wish I knew their names. So I'm not even going to try, but I think they may be Indian, but they're a couple. They're both hilarious. And they just do these videos of each other. They like mess with each other all the time. But the man is sort of the straight man, but he's also hilarious. Mm-hmm. And he went to her. He's like, oh, she was having a bad day because she was jet lagged. And he just started teasing her, and she started laughing. And you could see, and she was kind of like, "Don't make me laugh," like I'm busy being upset, kind of an energy. And I was like, I commented, "This is what love looks like in real life."
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I think the best times are, frankly, even if it's all going to hell, is when you're able to like make a joke about it, and just sort of bring that all down, and then go, "All right." So, like you say, so so what now? What kind of energy?
Yeah.
But I often need a joke to get, if I'm really upset about, to get from that to so what now? What? Like I need something to break it up and to remind me it's all ridiculous.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
The whole thing
is crazy. Try to keep that in mind. Like, just try to keep in mind the whole thing's nuts. So relax.
Yeah.
Relax.
And there's this thing that I know you've heard this line, and none of us are getting out of this alive. Like
that part. Yeah. I mean, it's just some realities to all of this. And I think when we sit with them, I know we're over time, but the death thing, when we sit with them, and I'll wrap us up. But I did want to say this, that it was actually Easter Sunday. It's semi-serious, but it was actually Easter Sunday. So, thinking about Easter. And I was like, oh, resurrection. So I'm just sitting there like chilling out. And I was like, that's interesting. Like in Buddhism, so on, like people talk about that we die to every moment. Which is really, I found like, a very powerful idea. Like that whoever I was an hour ago, we've now had this conversation. I'm a new person. But that is like, I don't know, that just really grabbed me. I said, wait, so if there's a death, I was like, so we live in every moment. And if we die to every moment, then we must be born every moment. I said, so then every moment includes birth, life, death, and resurrection.
That's exhausting.
Right? And I think we have to like be aware of that. Like there's a lot going on here, folks. Like when you're like, oh, I'm going to start working out. Well, that means the death of the version of you.
Yeah.
Right? And can you be in that? Can you live with that? Can you, accept that? Can you grieve that part and move on?
Can you commit to it too?
And can you commit to this new version or what? So there's, again, and it's not from a place of like, oh, who saw, like we're gonna ascend. I'm just like, it is important. I love that phrase of falling in love with life, because I think it's just so important. You gotta embrace all of it. There's a concept, amor fati, and I wish I could remember where that comes from, but based on the language, and it is love to love your fate.
Love to love your fate. Oh, that's a good one. I did have a thought though, like the resurrection of Jesus. If it happened today, there'd be like people with their phones, and you come out with like somebody'd have a filter on Snapchat, and you're like, it'd be so unserious. He's like, I've arrived. And everyone's like,
there's a hole in my hand.
Like just like back then, they were probably, oh, this is a miracle, and we'd be like, somebody'd be like, hoax. This is a hoax.
Totally. This is Jay-Z and Beyonce again. They're doing it. It's the Illuminati. Like, what are you talking about? The guy came out of what? Ah, it's the Illuminati. What are you talking about, man?
The Illuminati. Somebody would have like a barbecue stand ready for everybody to eat after.
Oh, 100%.
Like
T-shirts. You're like, oh, really, guys? We're doing T-shirts.
I went to the resurrection of Christ, and all I got was.
I think we gotta end it there. We're not gonna top that today. We're not, like, you got it, like, Ro, like we both know. You hit a laugh like that, you go, I'm getting off the stage right now. That was great. I went to the resurrection of Jesus, and all I got was his T-shirt. Oh God! Wow! If nothing else happens today, is a great day for that. That joke is very funny.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, we went a bit over. I hope you folks enjoyed it. Yeah. This is Align Family. We record live every Thursday, and with us, why don't you figure out how you can manage all that life that's going on and still show up in your own life and your own families the way you hope to be showing up. So, Ro, anything you want folks to be following? Anything you want folks to be aware of?
It's all gonna be a big old transitional fun time.
That's right.
I'll let you know.
All right. That's it for us.
Okay, bye.
Bye.